Everybody, welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name, and welcome to my first Expedition 33 video. We're going to be going over an early game build that has been super good for me. So I'm on this screen for two main reasons to show you off. One, I am playing this on Expert, so everything that I say in terms of what's good and what's bad is through the context of Expert. There might be things that are, really good on easier that aren't good on Expert, and there might be things that are really good on Expert that just aren't really that good on easy. However, also, I'm here because I just want to tell you that I will do my best to avoid spoilers. But if you have not completed Act 1, there is a chance you will get spoilers in this video. Just be warned, I will not address anything that looks like it could be a spoiler. I'm not going to explain anything, but there are potential spoilers for stuff in general. So keep that in mind. But this is going to be spoiler warning is over in 3, 2, 1, boom. Turns out it was all a dream the whole time. No, a Mael. This is a Mael build here, built around the Brularum. So this is a item you get relatively early, and it has a super powerful effect at level 4. Critical hits, apply, burn. The level 10 version is good too, and the level 20 version is also great, but I think this is going to be primarily an earlier game build, and it's going to likely fall off later game. We'll get into why in a minute here, but I want to go over the build, and then I will explain why I don't think it's a late game build and why you'll respec out of it later. So it's basically built around this weapon. Where do you find this weapon? I happen to have looked it up because I couldn't remember. It's in the Flying Waters in the Coastal Cave. Apparently you can get a level 12 version later, but it drops from Bruler enemies encountered past the Noko's hut. Sorry for the lag. My computer's not used to all this stuff. So you can find it in the Flying Waters. If you haven't been there yet, you'll have to get there in order to beat the game. So you will get there and fight the Brulers there, and you'll be able to unlock this weapon. So this is all about getting your crit as high as possible. Critical hits, apply, burn. You know what can crit? Your gun attack. Pew, pew. So this is all about using your gun as many times as possible to get as many stacks of burn as possible on the target. Now, the ins and outs of it are going to change a little bit in terms of what kind of pictos you have and what the luminas that you have are. But as far as skills, you honestly, for this build, you could save your skill points. You don't need to use them. I did use some just to pick up a breaking rules because there were some enemies with a lot of shield, but I don't use any of these pretty much ever. I've occasionally used offensive switch, but you don't need to use any of your skills. And it's mostly about using your gun. And what's really good about the gun is that it does take an AP to do a damage, but if it crits, that's really good because you get the burn, and it doesn't end your turn. So this build is really good at getting huge amounts of burn on an enemy, while also not ending your turn, so you could freely use items without really diminishing your output. So you could get a bunch, use those AP items to get a huge amount of AP on your characters. Or you could use luminous, passives that will basically make your healing items stronger or do other things. So there's a lot of flexibility in this build because it doesn't end your turn in terms of how it goes. You could even use all your, most of your stuff and then use a skill if you want, or just a basic attack. So there's a couple directions we can go here. I am going to organize this by the ones that I think are I'm going to tell you which ones I think are absolutely critical. And then everything else is super flexible depending on how far you get into the game, which pictos you have. So the most important ones here, and again, I don't have the location of every single one of these. You get a lot of this stuff while you're playing the game, but I'm sure most of you that are exploring will find this stuff. Marking shots, number 1. 20% chance to apply mark on a free aim shot. This is good for 2 reasons, because it combines with the second ability I'm talking about, burning mark, where you apply burn on hitting a marked enemy. Or if you decide that you don't really need to get that extra stack of burn, or you run out, this is like your last action, and then you apply it, you can have the mark just be used by another character, right? So it is very good because it can make you stronger, but it can also make your other allies stronger. But this is I would say this is essential. Combined with burning mark, apply burn on hitting a marked enemy. That way, if you do want to double down and just keep getting more and more and more burn, this is very good. Also, the most important one I should have started with is burning shots. 20% chance to burn on a free aim shot. So now you have, let's just assume you're always getting a crit, okay? Because you have critical burn, 25% increased critical chance on burning enemies. Early game, getting your crit rate as high as possible is super important. Once this weapon gets to level 20, you'll always be at 100% crit rate. We'll talk about in a second, but basically you could start moving away from the crit rate stuff in general because it'll be much easier, especially with the equipment, just to get high crit rates. But early on, you definitely need this. So your goal is you're going to be shooting this, so you have a guaranteed crit. Let's say roughly you're going to crit, so you're going to hit them, then you're going to burn them with the crit, and then you're going to burn them with this 1 out of 5 times. Also, sometimes you'll do the mark, and then the mark will also apply a burn, which will then, basically all these things are compounding, and you're getting a bunch of burn. The other one here also is the rewarding mark, 2 AP on dealing damage to a marked enemy. This will allow you to get more shots in a turn. So before we jump into the actual fight that we're going to do to kind of show off how it works, the reason why I think this is going to fall off a bit later is because the weapon is a little bit awkward once you hit level 20. So overall, luck, I think, is a bad stat the later in the game you get. It's primarily crit rate, and as equipment gets better, you're going to need less luck in order to get to that crit rate that is good. That's what it seems like so far. And so you really want weapons that scale with agility, because that's like the best stat, and luck, I would say, is the worst stat. So this is what is a little awkward. And also the fact that this is a luck scaling weapon that has a passive built into it that gives you a 100% crit chance means you're going to want 0 luck on this character once this weapon hits level 20, and you're going to want to put it all in agility, but it has worse agility scaling than luck scaling, so its damage might just kind of fall off compared to using a weapon that just has a higher agility. She doesn't actually have a insanely good agility weapon and that I have right now, so I'm not sure what I would use, but I do think that this could fall off. Maybe you end up using something like this instead and going agility defense and making it so but I think it's going to be a totally different build later, because really the critical hits apply burn is what we're all focused on here. Depending on how many points you have, there's a lot of flexibility here, right? Yes, I'm using augmented aim, I'm using accelerating last stand and breaking shots, but basically you start throwing stuff in. Don't forget that you could use all kinds of interesting combos. You could have the things that make it so your tints are stronger, that where you're healing yourself, combos you could do. But I'm here to kind of give you the core build, not a hyper-specific endgame build. This is something you could start doing pretty darn early and is very good. So we are going to be using, again, this character. We're going to be going into this fight right here. So I am using the stuff when you're fighting alone. This is the hidden arena here. Hi, I'm up here now. So here is how the build is going to work. So first you can see we're at 4 energy, right? Primarily what you're going to do is you're going to shoot them, right? And now they're at a burn. Then you're going to shoot them. Then you're going to shoot them. And then you're going to shoot them. We did get the mark. So what we're going to do here is we're going to attack him. And now we're up to 9 burn on turn 1. He's taken 3,800 damage. I'm just going to dodge wrongly. I don't want to accidentally kill him. So here's what we're going to do. And now we're on turn 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And look, we got 2 energy back. So we actually marked him. We get 2 more shots. So we're at 18 burn. And actually what you probably want to do, even if you're going in against a boss fight, is you just use an item. You get the energy tint, use it on yourself. So now we hit him for 5,000. We're on turn 2 and we used an item on 1 character and we're already at 18 burn. All right. And so now how much do we get up to? This is turn 3 of combat. He's going to be at what, 35 burn? 35 burn. And we hit him for, well, we could take a look here. We hit him for 9,999 damage on 35 burn over 3 turns. Now, again, this is a one-on-one fight. We have that 100% crit chance. But that wasn't even particularly high luck. We didn't even get the mark until the final hit of the first turn. And we used an item. So that is basically how this build works. It is very, very good against single targets. And if you want to adapt it for multiple targets, I think what you're really going to want to do is to make sure you have the dead energy stuff, is when you kill an enemy, you get AP back. Because what this will allow you to do is you can like hit flying enemies 3 times and then you get all your energy back. And then you can hit a different flying enemy a couple times, get all your energy back. Because when she kills an enemy, what she gets, I think she gets 3, yeah, she gets 6 energy back when she kills an enemy right now. So if you could kill an enemy in 6 shots, then you get all your energy back. It's good for like killing multiple targets. It's still like I'm using other characters to primarily deal AoE. This is about getting as many burn stacks as possible. And I think it is actually going to be good for a while. But again, with the weapon scaling, I think it might fall off later because you don't want luck eventually. But yeah, that is the build. Go ahead and try this out. Let me know if you have any other really good builds for single target damage dealers. This felt like such a fun way to do it. Mostly because I bet it doesn't deal the single most damage of the early game builds that this character can do. But because you have the full flexibility to attack as little as much as you want, the fact that it doesn't end your turn meaning you can then choose to use a skill. You could then choose to do a normal attack. You could then choose to use an item and revive someone if they die. Tons of flexibility while not sacrificing almost any damage has been fantastic. Anyway, guys, that is the most powerful build in the game. I'll see y'all in the flip-flops. Peace out. Bye.
On the rise, watch the views go up. Content king, never down, always showing.